You're listening to the Grind Line Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Grind Line Podcast. I'm your host, Greg. This is episode 360. I'm with Ryan and Tyler. Tyler looks kind of fancy tonight. Ryan, Tyler, how you guys doing?
Go ahead, Mr. Camera.
I'm doing good. Got a new camera, so I think I look a lot better than I did previously with the built-in camera. This is a little bit better, so can't complain too much. How about you guys?
If you want to see what Tyler's talking about, go on YouTube and watch the video. He looks better. Still does not look great. Ryan, how are you?
Good. Had a little work holiday party this evening. Pretty quiet. I got a $50 Amazon gift card out of it, so it's a win. Good night.
Nice. What my boss does and what he does is he $25 in Amazon gift cards for every year you've worked at the company, up to a max of $250 for Christmas. So I'll be getting a nice Amazon gift card this year. But the Red Wings won a big game. They shut out the Vancouver Canucks, the second to last place Vancouver Canucks, so they might be in last place now. 4-0 on the back of just a stellar John Gibson performance, where it was like, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sometimes. And last night, which we were recording on the 9th, last night, he was phenomenal. Like he was making high danger save after high danger save. The Canucks outchanced the Red Wings scoring chances for 31-15, 17-8 high danger chances, and Gibson stopped everything. And that's at 5-on-5. To get 31 scoring chances is insane. That's crazy to me.
And they kicked it off that way. Vancouver did. I mean, they came out in the first. They had what impressed me the most, I would say, to kind of jump on my own point there. They were playing fast. Vancouver.
And the Wings looked like they were asleep in the first.
True, but at the same time, the movement that Vancouver had was just impressive. I mean, they were overwhelming us on the rush coming in. But then they always made it the way they were attacking the defense. And I think they called it out, Ozzy, on the broadcast. They're kind of confusing the way Detroit was trying to find their man. And that led to a lot of those opportunities that you mentioned. Like one of the first ones out the gate was Brock Besser wide open in between the circles. And you're just like, oh my God, here we go. But Gibson stood tall. He attacked it, made a great blocker pad save there off to the right-hand side. And I think what was great about it, he looked much more confident and comfortable. But I also give a lot of credit to the guys for the most part in front of him, because yes, there were some moments where there was some pretty impressive tips in front of the net, but his positioning and just the way that he approached each offensive series for Vancouver seemed very different than what we've seen to this point, I would say.
I agree. I mean, that was Gibson's best game as a Red Wing, I would say. He was square to the puck.
Can't get much better than that.
Yeah, you really can't improve on it wasn't a gimme shutout either. It was a hard fought, well-earned shutout.
I mean, arguably since the Tampa game early on.
No doubt. I mean, 39 saves. Yes, we can say what we want about the Vancouver Canucks and where they're going to be headed within the next couple of months, maybe even the next month, in terms of trading a lot of pieces off. But they still have some good players. Sherwood's good. Obviously, Quinn Hughes is really good. Pettersson's really good. They got some really good players on that team. And Gibson made some really good saves when he had to, especially early on. You know, that game, there was a point in time where that game could have been 3-0 early on, Vancouver. And then you're looking at, another 3-goal deficit that you have to climb out of. So glad that they didn't have to do that. Glad that John Gibson stood tall. And I thought his rebound control was a lot better too. Like rebound control, I feel like has been a big issue of his, and it feels like he cleaned it up last night. So that was huge to see. Obviously, that's he was great killing penalties as well. I mean, obviously your goaltender's got to be your best penalty killer, and he was that last night too.
Yeah, you look at it, and Ryan, you mentioned it. Kiefer Sherwood looks great. Jake DeBrusk looked really good. Brock Besser looked really good. Quinn Hughes, good. You had Atu Ratu looked really good last night. Like, they've got good players, and they played a really good game. It was a good hockey game overall. The game was better for the Canucks last night. The Red Wings early on, like you said, I tweeted out at one point, hey guys, how about we stop the blind hopeful passes to no one when you just hope someone is there and you fling the puck behind you and it gets intercepted because there was no one there. They're doing a lot of no look passes, which is it's anxiety inducing. And but what happened last night was the Red Wings did to the Vancouver Canucks what so many times has been done to the Red Wings this season. You get a million chances if you're the Canucks, you just don't bury anything, or you get goalied, which is what happened to them last night. But this time it happened to the Red Wings. They were able to bury the grade A chances that were put in front of them and get timely, meaningful stops from their goaltending when they needed it, which we have not seen very much this season.
And I feel like he helped dictate the play because of it early on. Like that first 10 minutes in particular, it seemed like Vancouver was just going to keep pouring it on.
Yeah, it's a we have to win this for our goalie kind of game.
Sure. But after that first half of the period, then Detroit started to get their feet under him a little bit better and really started putting on the pressure. And then here comes that fourth line, if you want to call it that, third line with Confer, Raz, and JVR. And is it just me, or does Confer out of nowhere just have a beautiful little redirect pass that he always manages to find someone in front of the net for a great assist? Because he did it again last night on a great little board battle, which it started out me thinking, oh God, he's going to just completely try to avoid contact and miss and lose the puck again. But he avoided the hit, managed to get the puck slid up the boards a little bit. Then he reached out, got a little one-handed whack on it. That JVR, who made it look like, hey, this is why I was a second overall pick back in 2007, who slammed it home. But they have a bit of a nice little checking line there, if you will, but there's skill that can pop out every so often. Plus JVR is just on a heater as it is.
Before we skip over the rest of John Gibson's, I'm going to throw some stats out, and then Tyler, you can keep going on that. But John Gibson last night, just to give our appreciation to him fully, he had a goal saved above expected of 4.64, which is pretty crazy, considering he's been pretty far in the negative on goals saved above expected recently. So to give him his flowers, beautiful shutout. Like I said, a lot of high danger chances from the Canucks. He stonewalled them at every turn. But Tyler, you're going to talk a little bit more about the checking line.
Yeah, I was just going to say JVR in particular, heating up, 4 games in a row with a goal. He seems to be pretty dangerous every time he's out there recently, at least in the last 4 games. And even in that Tampa game, when on Black Friday, he was really good too. So it's good to see when you start seeing some depth goal scoring, when it's not just the Canes, the Larkins, the Brinkets, the Raymonds, et cetera, et cetera. When you start to see some guys like JVR and Comfer and Kopp, even Andrew Kopp has been phenomenal recently, I think, on these last, probably even the last like 5 or 6 games. Andrew Kopp has been good in the middle there, and he's really done a good job on that second line.
Well, what's really worked for them and why JVR, first off, JVR did not get a training camp and he's older, so it takes him a little longer to warm up. He's been effective for a while, and now he's on a point streak, which is good. But what you saw against Vancouver is the way they were able to score was they got bodies to the net. They weren't shooting from the point and hoping it went in. They were crashing the net and having guys around the net to put pucks in front and just bang them home. And that's what I think we need to see more out of this team, is the willingness to just go to the dirty areas in front of the net and just muck it up for pucks. And I think JVR is a really good example for someone like Elmer Soderblom to copy or emulate, because JVR isn't good in front of the net. He's good at taking away the eyes of the goalie. He actually, when the puck went to him, he kicked it up to his skate and was able to tap it in because it landed between his feet. So I think watching a guy like that, and if a guy like that can teach guys like Rasmussen, who's been really good lately, who could teach guys like Elmer Soderblom how to do that kind of stuff in front of the net, it's only going to benefit them in the long run.
Not even the 2 big guys, even Emmett Finney, because we know that he likes to go to the front of the net and battle there and try to do something fun with it. And if he can take what JVR is bringing with a little bit of a combination of what you're seeing with Patrick Kane, because all these guys can do from that here on out is just continue to learn from them. And that's your best case scenario moving forward, because that, again, speaks to your depth. But it goes back to conversations we've had in the past where when you've got highly skilled players on your team, regardless of the age at this point, because now you're using their brain, maybe not more so than the skill, it makes the guys around you better. Like what we talked about previously was guys like Zetterberg, Datsuk, and the sort, Lidstrom, Cronwall. They made everyone else around them better, and that's what you want and want to build off of as at this point moving forward and in the future with guys like Raymond. Larkin is the obvious one. DeBrincat, your stars being stars not only in a game but in practice and off the ice, and showing those younger players, those skilled younger players, how to do it properly.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I don't know if you guys saw, but Mike Rupp on NHL Network said that he's super excited to see Dylan Larkin play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He goes, I can't wait to see this guy finally play in the playoffs at some point. So exactly, fingers crossed. It's been a long time. Obviously, he did have that one playoff run, or I should say round in, what was it, 2015 when they lost to Tampa in Game 7. And then so was he on both? Or no, he was only on the one team, right, that made the playoffs?
Yeah, his rookie season, they made the playoffs.
Right, yeah, okay. They lost in 5 games to Tampa. My bad. Yeah.
I think it was also the podcast that the Kachuk brothers have now. We're also giving praise to Dylan Larkin. Like, they're like, he's like one of the best players we've played with. Like, people need to see what he can do in like playoff situations because he's just so good and underrated.
And you know what speaks to that? The Four Nations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because they saw. I think that's what really put him up to a new level, is what he was able to do in that short time frame. And I think that's what's building not only that excitement for potential playoff Dylan, but Olympics Dylan. And who knows? Maybe
and
that
now
unlocks even more.
Battle damaged Dylan after taking the puck to the face against Seattle and getting something like 13 stitches, coming back with the cage the third period that game and still playing, which is pretty crazy. But back to James Van Riemsdyk real quick. I just pulled his evolving hockey card. Overall, he's at an 86 with an offensive 84 and a defensive 68 on the season. So that's the kind of guy that you're like, he's a flex player. JVR could play on the top line if you needed him to. The speed's not really there right now, but the hands are there. The grit is there. And just the net front battle is there in James Van Riemsdyk that I think makes him super effective. Yeah, offensive ability, but also defensive ability. He's at a 68 on defense this season, that's not a defensive slouch.
What's crazy to that point too, because we're looking at the evolving hockey card here. When you look at just his games log, he's got a point in 6 of 7, 6 of his last 7 games. He's got 6 goals over that period, all goals, I should say. Before that, though, which is kind of incredible, he had through 17 games. Yeah, of course, nothing wants to load. Only 2 points. So he has turned it on the goal scoring aspect, which is incredible because they need it. But to only have 2 points through those first 17, now he's got 6 in his last 7 since really Thanksgiving, if you will. That is something. As they move forward, is it going to stay consistent like that? Unlikely. But the fact that it is happening now, while you've still got scoring coming from your top guys, that's what it can make you, hopefully long-term, a successful playoff team. Will it be maintained? We'll find out. But the way that he's doing this at 13, 14 minutes a night, if that's the important factor, I think.
Cool. So we're going to take a quick break. We're for a sponsor. When we come back, we're going to talk about the other half of what it kind of powering the Red Wings the past couple games, actually. So give us a quick second. Word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. Spinorama's Michigan goals, a sprawling save across the crease. Live and breathe all the highlight moments with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So download DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright NHL 2025. All rights reserved. And we're back. And I'm just going to start with this because I'm pulling evolving hockey cards as we're on break, just looking at stuff. Alex DeBrincat is having an insane season. So overall, Alex DeBrincat's game score 90. He's in the top 10% of NHL players currently, forwards, with an offense of 88 and a defense of 73. If you would have looked at his defense number the last season he was in Ottawa, I mean, it had to have been 20 or lower. And it shows in game how much better he's gotten by board battling, by back checking, by constantly fighting, stripping pucks from guys. It's a night and day difference from what it was 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, I'll take it. But I think what I said right before we got back on here is that props to the coaching staff for that, because we would see glimpses of it last year, I think, after the change happened. And even with Kane, I remember having specific conversations about moments where they'd be coming flying back from their own end to break up a play on a quick little stick lift or the sort, but also getting in front of shots, helping with the breakout and getting things going forward, which then, of course, leads to their brilliant offensive skill set. So the fact that you're getting a full, complete game, and maybe there's a bit of a, want and push there to play that way because of the Olympics, he still feels that he should be getting into the conversation and going to Italy for that, and I don't blame him. So
he's also been noticed by the elementary school crowd because my daughter named the elf that is in our house this year Alex, after Alex DeBrincat.
So there's a lot at play, but I think the coaching staff in particular has really helped him out tremendously. But I'm not going to disregard the fact that the Olympics are still upcoming and they haven't, the final roster is not yet known.
I think that Alex DeBrincat, that evolving hockey card shows everything it needs to, but that also verifies with the eye test as well, because Alex DeBrincat busts his ass more than almost anybody on this team outside of Moritz Seider and Dylan Larkin. Those three are in a category.
I'd add Emmett Finney to that list too.
Okay, Finney's in that conversation, but I'm saying, like, in terms of a guy that probably doesn't need to play that way, and he does play that way because he's built that way. He's obviously that's definitely the coaching staff showing, hey, look, we need to play defense first, but we need to find a way to score as well. He's been as good as you can be. I know, obviously, he's got 3 and then 5 points in his last 4 games or something like that. So like I said, DeBrincat's one of those players, though, that he plays a lot bigger than he is, and he's not afraid to go to the dirty areas, but he's also not afraid to back check, and that's the biggest thing, and that's kind of what the card is showing.
Still averaging over a point per game right now. He's second in the team in scoring with 31, only behind Larkin and Raymond, who are tied at 32. Cat's got 31 points through 30 games, 14 goals, 17 assists. I think the balancing aspect of that is what impresses me the most, is that he's dishing it as much as he's scoring, which typically we're seeing a little bit more of the scoring piece coming through, but it also just kind of talks to the way the team has been performing as a whole, outside of JVR, who's just scoring on his own and having fun with it.
The one thing I'll say as well about Alex DeBrincat, he has a great stick. He really does. He's able to read the play and I don't make the jokes. You know what I mean when I say that. Good at lifting the stick, good at poke checking, good at reading the play. He's becoming a full 200-foot player.
What I always appreciate about him, when he's on the ice, much like Larkin.
Yep.
And there's not too many guys on this team, at least on the forward side of things, that they're always out there. DeBrincat is always in the middle of something, whether it's on the forecheck, whether it's just kind of pressuring the puck on a breakout from the other team, or driving the play in the offensive zone. And I think that's what speaks to the way that he's grown since coming to Detroit as a whole.
Tyler loves DeBrincat's stick. The other thing that is happening, though, is that the young guys are becoming like huge contributors on the well, huge might be an overstatement. They're increasingly becoming contributors on the
Jay
team.
Fresh would like a word.
I don't want to hear it. Nate Danielson had himself a night last night. If you look at the hockey stat card for player impact on the game, Nate Danielson was the most impactful player and for the forward group last night with a 1.97 positive in the positive. So, I mean, offensively good, defensively good, scored a beautiful net front goal where he was basically scored and then pushed in, which was funny. My wife laughed because he stumbled into the goal and then he got up. He's like, "Hey, it went in." But that was only fueled by just the amazing play of Elmer Soderblom down low to just puck protect. That's the one thing when I talk about intangibles and Elmer Soderblom, he's so big that it makes him like a really, really effective puck protector because he's got the long reach. He's got the big body. Yeah, he can box out, and he did a really good job. Fed it to Marco Kasper, who had the second highest impact of forwards last night, who got it to Nate Danielson for just a bang at home redirect kind of goal, which Nate has been very impressive lately, and the points will come, but he looks like he did in the AHL. He looks polished. Marco Kasper, again, had himself a night where he got an assist, his first assist of the season, which is insane for me to say, but that's got to be a huge weight lifted off of him and hopefully helps him break out. But the story, I think, of that game next to John Gibson was Axel Sandin-Pellikka, who looked like a veteran NHL player making slick offensive moves, wasn't slouching on defense, but made really good offensive plays for the tap-in Andrew Kopp goal, which was a seeing eye pass directly. All Kopp had to do was put his stick on the ice. ASP hit that stick and was redirected in. So ASP really, really deserved it. Highest impact for defensemen last night, but also the second best skater out of all of the games that were played that night behind Joel Eriksson Ek was Axel Sandin-Pellikka. So the kids are all right. They're doing really well.
There's been like 4 or 5 goals this year where you like even people that don't watch the Red Wings on a nightly basis are like, holy shit, what puck movement, either on the power play and sometimes even 5-on-5. I mean, the skill is undoubtedly there on this team. Yes, are they the most skilled team in the NHL? No. Are they getting to the point where we want to see them? Absolutely. They continue to push the bar higher and higher. And yes, we woke up this morning in first place in the division, and that is a great place to be. However, you're 3 or 4 points away from being in last place or, the middle of the pack. So it's kind of fool's gold, but at the same time, it's a credit to the coaching staff. It's a credit to the team that if you do the right things and you play the right way, you can wake up in the morning and look, and you're in first place in the division. Or, you can be in a playoff spot come April. And that's the most important thing.
It just speaks to how little room for error they have right now at this point in the season. And I don't think that we necessarily expected it to be so tight at this point in the season still. Because usually as we've talked about before and what's hammered home over and over, American Thanksgiving is usually the likelihood of what you're going to see for the playoffs. And here we are. Everyone was within 1-2 points of each other, or the top 3 in the Atlantic, and then the wild card, and then the 3 through 6 in the wild card. And that's still how it looks because Detroit's at 35 points. Then you've got Tampa and Boston at 34. Below that in the wild card, inside the division, Montreal 33, Toronto 32, Florida and Ottawa at 30, and then Buffalo is just being Buffalo at 26. But this can very quickly flip on its head inside the division in one night. And how long that is maintained, we don't know because Montreal's been having a bit of a rough go after their hot start. So if you can start grabbing a little bit more momentum back, if you're Detroit, especially after kind of a suspect November, we were excited, a lot of home games. But now we're seeing them kind of flip that on its head. They've got points in 3 straight road games to start this road trip. So take them where you can, but if you can take them, especially on the road right now, where it's becoming more and more at a premium as we approach the new year, every month's going to be important. But I think right now, for how tight things are, if you can create a little bit of separation and wiggle room, it's going to help you out a lot.
Especially if you can add a difference maker.
Yeah, we're not going to rehash that again. We'll see what happens.
Has it not picked up speed since even just last time we talked about it?
It keeps doing it.
When one person talks, everyone starts talking, and then for the player, it's got to suck to try to block that out. But it's generating clicks and generating traffic, so that's why everyone's going to start talking about it.
Said it again today on Daily Face-Off. He said it again. The
I
only
don't know.
person that's put cold water on it, which I kind of respect Frank a lot. Frank Saravalli has put cold water on it. He says, I don't see it happening anytime soon. But he said, I also don't believe that that's something that he said, I believe that's something that could still change at any time too. So just because he's not available right now doesn't mean he's not going to be available next week or whatever. So
keep being the worst team in the West, and anything is possible at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, if you listen to his post game after the Red Wings game, the dude sounded so sad. It was
he looked like he just got out of a trench battle.
He looked like someone just beat his puppy in front of him. It was really bad. But he did compliment the Red Wings. He's like, they built through the draft and they did it right, and they're a good team. Now he said they're not like, it's not like they're a top 3 team or anything. He was like, but they played a good game. They've got good players. They built through the draft and are doing what they're doing. So a good compliment from Quinn Hughes on the Red Wings.
Is that a low-key backhanded swipe at Ken Holland for not drafting him?
I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to talk about Philip Zadina any longer. But back to Tyler's point of you're seeing the offense that we know is there come to fruition. I think now it's about consistency. It's bring your PDO back up. Last night is how the Red Wings were supposed to play. Like on most nights, it's how they play and are not rewarded for it, which led to that low PDO number. Now start finding the back of the net. Now bring that number back up to level, and you're going to win more games than you lose. And tomorrow, the Detroit Red Wings play the Calgary Flames. They then play the Oilers on Thursday. So they were really, the first half, the Flames are not a good team. So I think that's a very winnable game. But the Oilers are on a pretty good streak right now. So you're catching a hot Oilers team on the back half of a back-to-back. And I say hot, they've played the Kraken, and they won 9-4. They played the Jets. They won 6-2. They've been off since December 6th. They play the Sabres tonight, and that game should be starting in just a few minutes. So if they beat the Sabres, that's a 3-game win streak for them, and that's a hot team. So it's not a team that I want to catch on the second half of a back-to-back with Leon Draisaitl and Evan Bouchard and Connor McDavid. I don't want that. But if you can at least pick up the 2 points against the Flames, you're off to a good road trip.
Well, I mean, you're already off to a good road trip. You've got points in.
You're off to a better road trip.
Yeah, you'd be in a great road trip at that point because you've got 5 out of possible 6 points already out of these 3 games. I mean, the Columbus game, you could argue they should have shouldn't say easily, they should have took away 2 points there. The fact that they salvaged 1, I guess, is a win. But in the grand scheme of it, they've got points in 5 straight. So you got a shootout, you got a win, shootout, win-win. So you're getting points when you really need to get points at coming off of that 4-game skid. So I think as a whole, that's a win. But if you can get at least 3 more out of the next 3, yeah.
The thing that scares me the most about the Calgary Flames is their goaltending. Cooley's been good, and Dustin Wolf has been really good. So hopefully you don't get goalied. I guess that's the biggest thing. And then Edmonton, yeah, I mean, they're starting to hit their stride. I feel like this is around the time that they start to put things together, the Edmonton Oilers. Now, would I say that it's the best strategy to get back to the Stanley Cup final again? Probably not. But they know what they're doing. They're a team that's gone to the finals 2 years in a row, and they know what they're doing here. They paced themselves. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So
they worked their way back into the wild card.
Exactly, and they'll be there in the end, unless barring something catastrophic. I would imagine they'll be at least in the playoffs, and then let the chips fall where they may. So, yeah, I agree with you. 2 points against Calgary. Try to get 1 against the Oilers, but at least get those 2 against Calgary.
So the Red Wings will be in second place behind, I'm assuming, the Tampa Bay Lightning in about 15-ish minutes. The Lightning are up on Montreal 5-1 right now, and that arena looks dead. There are a lot of empty seats now since they've gone down 5-1 in Montreal. But I want to get you guys' final thoughts before we sign off. We will start with Tyler.
Yeah, just a little bit more about what I said. I mean, you're starting to put yourself in a good position, but as we talked about before, the margin for error is small. So when you can bank some points against teams like Calgary and Seattle, as you did, those are huge. I mean, like I said, make no mistake, you have to find a way to win the games that you're supposed to win, and then you have to find a way to win some games you're not supposed to win, or at least sneak out a point in the games that you're not supposed to win. I mean, if you go back to the last time the Wings made the playoffs, they backed their ass into the playoffs that year. And guess what? They had a lot of situations where they lost a lot of games in overtime. But guess what? That 1 point that continues to accumulate is worth a ton. That pity point that we always talk about, that is worth a ton. And in the end, it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get there. And I mean, that's the biggest thing. So those are my final thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at SealDog91. Let's get Marco Kasper a goal here. Come on now.
Now, biggest thing I want to touch on, we're on Patrick Kane 500 goal watch. He's 3 away. It's going to be almost poetic if it happens against Chicago. I think a lot of folks are calling for a hat trick. Don't score the next 2 and get a hat trick against them and take it home that way, which would be epic in every which way. But he's also closing in on what's the other big one? He's catching Mike Modano. He's only 12 points away there as well and passing him. So he's got some upcoming milestones. And if he stays healthy the way he's playing, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Also, shout out on YouTube, BVan5340. Appreciate your support. Keep listening, bud. Party Ryan 33.
Yeah, if Patrick Kane could hit that milestone against the Blackhawks, that would be, if he could just do it out of spite, that would be absolutely hilarious. I think that's a solid plan. But you can follow me online at Bring the Wing. You follow the Grindline Podcast online at Grindline Pod. Give a shout out to the Hockey Podcast Network and thank them for hosting us and spreading us around. Vintage Detroit, which is the only place you should get your Detroit jerseys from and worked on, and where we have an exclusive t-shirt deal. If you go there, click the Keep It Local tab, click the Grindline Podcast, you'll find all our designs, and we would love for you to sub to us on YouTube. Go there, search the Grindline Podcast, click the sub button, click the notifications. You'll be notified whenever an episode goes live. Also comment and like the videos, and I comment back, and we talk. And they love you guys on YouTube. So that's going to do it for us tonight. So for Ryan and Tyler, I am Greg. You stay classy, Akitan.